What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Ty from Ty Drives here for yet another review. This one is on the 2022 Audi S7 with the Prestige trim level and the S Sport package. So really neatly optioned out S7, and it looks absolutely beautiful without the black optic package on this particular vehicle. Now, throughout this video, we're going to take a walk around, see what kind of features we're working with on the exterior. We'll then pop the hood and see what powers the S7. Then we'll pop the trunk and see what kind of cargo room we're working with. We'll then make our way into the interior, starting with the rear seat, see what kind of room and amenities we're working with back there. And we'll pop forward finally to the front seats, kind of get a good look at all of the features that this vehicle has to offer. Now, if you are looking for a first-person point of view driving video, I filmed a completely separate video. Head on over to my channel, Ty Drives, of course, to look for that video. I strapped the GoPro to my head and we get a good, feel for the vehicle on the road. But enough introduction. Let's start off with the features, and we're going to start off with the headlamps. So laser headlights with this vehicle, as well as LED daytime running lights and turn signals. So very neat to see that. You can kind of see the little laser warning in the headlight too, which is pretty neat. Taking a look down below, we have headlight washers, parking sensors, and all kinds of different sensors too for your adaptive cruise control. You can see one to either side of the Audi rings. Very nice sort of bright work to this vehicle, seeing that it is a non-black optic vehicle. We have a front camera that pays to the 360 degrees view camera system, and also the nice little S7 badge. Pretty sharp creases throughout this vehicle on the body lines, and they're especially present on the hood. As you can see, very nice ultra blue paint color. I believe they pretty much just came out with this color either this year or last year, I'm not too sure, but pretty cool looking color. They also have these very nice silver painted 21-inch wheels for the S7. Now, the black optic cars, of course, get different wheels with black elements, but this one being the non-black optic, take a look at these cool wheels. So 255/35 is the tire size up front, and huge brake rotors and calipers. And believe it or not, for the RS7, all of that stuff gets even bigger. Not quite sure how they fit it in there, but for the RS7, the brake calipers get even bigger. So again, more aluminum trim even on the mirrors, looks very nice. If we flip around to see the mirrors, you can see you have the daytime, or the turn signals I should say, on the mirrors, as well as the blind spot indicators. You have the touchless key entry for the doors, so the front and rear handles have that. You can see the little indentations on the door handle. You just tap to lock and then put your hand behind the handle to unlock. And the same setup back here for the wheels and tires. Now back here is where you could really see the shape of the S7, the sort of sport back shape. So the trunk actually starts up here and ends down there, which is pretty neat. Taking a walk around back, we have a full light bar back here, all LEDs as you would expect, and the dynamic turn signals. It looks pretty neat, all lit up. Take a look at that. We have the S7 badging, the Audi rings, and real exhaust pipes. Take a look at that. That's pretty neat. We have parking sensors back here, and in the trunk release and reversing camera too. There's also cameras underneath the mirrors, and also a nice deployable spoiler. Take a look at that. When it's up, looks pretty cool. But yeah, what do you guys think about the overall design and the exterior of the S7? I think this looks especially beautiful with the ultra blue paint. We also have four-wheel steering. I wanted to give you a shot of that, so I took a picture of it when I actually got the rear wheels to steer on a still shot. So take a look at that too. So all of the 7 series of Audi's lineup, the A7, the S7, and the RS7, all come with unique engines, and this happens to be the slotted in the middle engine choice, of course, as far as power figures go. It's a 2.9 liter twin turbocharged V6 that produces 444 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. It's also a mild hybrid that aids in the stop-start technology as well. So that is pretty neat. So again, the A7 will come with a little bit less powerful V6, and the RS7 will of course come with a much more powerful V8. So that's pretty neat. We'll save those power figures and all of those details for separate videos when an A7 and an RS7 hopefully becomes available to me. But everything looks pretty neat and tidy under the hood. You see you have two hood latches and quite a bit of noise reduction, so we don't get all of the sort of unwanted engine noise into the cabin when you don't want it. So the S7 does come with a full powered liftgate, which is pretty nice. As you can see, it reveals a lot of trunk space back here. There is so much room behind the rear seats, and if you would like to, you can even fold them down in a 40-20-40 split, and I will show you how to do that once we get into the rear seats. We have cargo tie downs back here, and some sort of extensions and cargo nets and things like that. Once you lift up the cargo floor, you can see you have a spare tire back here as well. You also have cargo shades, one fixed and one that goes along with the glass back here. You also have two buttons, one to lock the vehicle and close the trunk, or just to close the trunk. Alrighty, so a couple of things to show off in the rear here. First of all, we have electronic door handles, which is pretty neat. And we also have soft close doors as part of the Prestige trim level, which is pretty neat. Frameless glass on the A7, S7, RS7. Very nicely appointed back here too. There is really no cheap materials. We have the upper door panels is leather. We have the lower door panels in the same color leather as the seat, which is the rotor gray. We have sort of this exposed weave carbon fiber finish for the trim, which is very nice. All sort of metallic bright work for the rest of the trim, and just an overall very nice materials for the doors and pretty much all throughout the cabin. You also have a nice suede insert here. A little bit of storage too at the bottom of the door, and we have the 3D Bang & Olufsen sound system. Now, there's actually two levels of Bang & Olufsen sound systems this car comes with. This one is the standard one, but you can also upgrade to a 19 speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D advanced sound system. I feel it's like pretty close to $5,000 option. This vehicle does not have it. Taking a look up at the headliner, you can see you have some lighting back here and the oversized sunroof. Very beautiful interior color. We have the rotor gray again, and extremely soft seats with the leather. As you can see, the rear seats are also pretty heavily bolstered to either side, both on the top where your back goes and the bottom. So it almost gives you the feeling of being in a bucket seat back here. Legroom is pretty good too. You can see you have some cutouts in the back, and I'd say I have a good 3-4 inches of legroom sitting behind myself, and I am about 5'10" for reference. You can see you have air vents up here, as well as on the back of the center console and under the seats. And we have a full climate control back here, so this car has a 4-zone climate control. You can see individual temperatures, individual fan speeds, and individual where you would like the air to come out. So that's pretty customizable back here with the climate control, in addition to the heated rear seats. We have 2 USB-C charging points and a 12-volt power outlet. It is possible to have a third person back here, although they might be a little bit cramped because of that big hump for the drivetrain. Very beautiful attention to the detail with the seats. The stitching is just beautiful and the leather is top-notch. We have a fold-down armrest back here with a couple of features such as some storage and a couple of cup holders. And the fold down for the center ski hatch is actually right under here. You just pull that button right there and it will fold down. And the ones for the main parts of the seats are right up here. So you just pull that latch and the seats will fold flat. And at this point, we can move on forward to the front seats. Okay, and now we can get to the main event, the front cabin. There's a few things I'd like to go over on the driver's door. We have the same materials and appointments as the rear doors, so that's pretty nice. We have two-person memory seats for the driver. We also have the lock and unlock buttons. Take a look at all of the buttons in this vehicle. A really nice sort of metallic trim to them. Really gives it sort of an upscale feeling. We have power folding and the heated mirror controls, as well as the trunk release. Very nice stainless steel S-badged door sill as well. On the left of the dash, we get a little bit of that exposed weave carbon fiber trim. All of our lighting controls, the front and rear fog lamps as well. We can also see the control for the tilt telescoping steering wheel right there a bit better. We have a very large storage place in there. You can actually fit the entire owner's manual in that pouch there, just to give you a reference of how large it is. Hood release and nice sporty pedals. But take a look at these seats. Very beautiful, sort of the fixed headrest seats on this S7. And we can see all of the power controls. You have the four-way lumbar and your normal seat adjustments, as well as the thigh extensions too. Alright, so here's the key for the S7. It's the new style, sort of skinny, easy to slip in and out of your pocket key. We have the lock, unlock, trunk release, and the panic alarm on the back. You also have a separate button to slide in and out the physical key shaft itself in case you need to use that. But they actually give you a pretty cool slot to stick the key right in the center console there. And of course, just push the button to start. As you can see, when the vehicle starts, the steering wheel will lower to your last memory position, and so will the seat, which is very nice. Pretty cool materials for the leather on the steering wheel as well. You have sort of the dimpled leather for where your hands will grip. And some nice bright work too with a little S badge at the bottom. We have all of the buttons over here for the digital cockpit, and all sort of media buttons over here for your Bluetooth phone, voice commands, and skipping between your tracks, and also the volume for your radio. And you also have a programmable button right here, so you can go through a few different presets within the MMI screen, and you can kind of set up what you want that button to do. We have paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, which sound pretty good when you click them. And we also have a couple of stalks behind the steering wheel, one for your turn signals, the automatic high beams, and also a quick turn off for the lane keeping assist. We also have the bottom stalk for the adaptive cruise control, and the stalk to the right controls the wipers, of course. Alrighty, digital cockpit time. Now again, we're going to be using these buttons here to configure the screen, and at any menu within the digital cockpit, you can actually press this view button, and the center contents get larger, while the speedometer and revs will get a little bit smaller. So you can pretty much just go through here. We have a couple of different screens, like your average and real-time consumption. You have a date and time, also short and long-term memory, energy consumption screen, and your driver's assistance as well. And we also have the traffic signs, and you can also press this extra menu to get your lap times and previous lap times as well, and also just sort of a reduced display to have just kind of your focus on the vitals if you're on the racetrack. But for now, we're going to leave up the driver's assistance screen since it's pretty cool throughout the test drive. If you go to my channel and watch that, we'll be able to see that visual while we're on the road. Other than that, it's got a pretty good view here for your radio functions, Bluetooth telephone, as well as the map for the navigation. So that's pretty neat as well. The upper dash, just like the upper door panels, is all leather and stitched, very nicely appointed. And we also have our main MMI screen. So it's kind of like a home screen with all your different apps, or you could also flip to this one, which shows you what your radio, what your phone, and what the navigation is doing. You also have shortcuts to the side, and you could swipe from the top, get all of your audio settings. You can see what you can customize throughout here. Pretty actually very good level of customization for the audio system. You can go into the radio screen and have all of our different sources over here. You can see Sirius XM and things like that. We have the media and phone, also your navigation screen, and you can pop up and put in different destinations. Right here has to do with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So once you have your phone connected to that, you just click the button right there and it'll go right to the phone connection. We have the vehicle settings, and which is where we can see the Audi Drive Select. So we have Comfort, Auto, Dynamic, and Individual. Once we click on the individual, we can customize a few different things. And you can also raise or lower the ride height, which has the adaptive air suspension in this vehicle. You can also option this car with steel springs and things like that, so if it's more of a performance-oriented vehicle. We have different controls over here. This is for your ambient lighting on the inside. They give you some presets, and then you can also configure the different colors yourself. As you can see, lots of different colors and 2 different places to choose those colors, which is pretty neat. We also have a driver's assistance menu where you can select a different amount of the driver's assistance functions. As you can see, it comes pretty loaded up with quite a bit of driver's assistance in this vehicle. Then you also have your general settings over here. One thing to note too is that your gauge dimmer is actually in the center screen here as well, the adjuster. A lot of this stuff here is kind of like your weather, calendar, news, things like that. And you can also set up different users that's linked to the keys, which is pretty neat. We have this kind of shelf here with that nice exposed weave carbon fiber trim. Very neat looking to have that sort of trim on a shelf. And you have a pretty cool passenger area over there. Now the lower screen has mainly to do with climate control. As you can see, 2 different zones for the driver and passenger, 2 separate fan speeds, and 2 separate areas to where you want the air to come out. We have heated seats in this vehicle. Unfortunately, don't have cooled seats. Not quite sure why Audi didn't include them, but only heated seats with the S7 up front. We can press this button here to get more menus, such as your heated steering wheel. You can turn that on and off, and then you can control the rear climate as well from that upper screen. And there's also various other things like to turn off your auto start stop, to get your garage door openers. You can also raise and lower the rear deployable spoiler back there, and then also some heads-up display information, things like that. Right below the screen, we have a quick drive mode selector. You can also turn on and off your traction control and the hazards. And we also have quick defrosters for the front and rear. We have the engine start stop button right here, and you can also bring up your parking cameras quick. Lots of different views for the parking camera on this vehicle. So right now we have the wide angle front, but we can also switch to a regular front, a top down, rear view, a wide angle rear view, and the front and rear wheels. And then we can also press the 3D button to get a 3D view. Take a look at that. Now, Audis have had this for a couple of years now, but it still kind of amazes me at how they stitched these images together to get that view. It's kind of unbelievable. We also have a quick access button here for your driver's assistance things as well, so you can kind of bring that up quickly. And a volume knob, and it also doubles as a skip between the tracks as well. As far as the transmission goes, the S7 has an 8-speed torque converter automatic, and that is the only transmission available. You can drop it down into drive, and then you can also bump it once more down to put the transmission into a sport mode immediately. You can also put it all the way forward into reverse. And we also have P for park, and then also once you're in drive, you can also bump it over into a manual shifting mode, which is pretty neat. Electronic parking brake, 2 cup holders over here with another 12-volt power outlet. If we lift up this very nice soft center console, you can see we have a little bit of storage in there and another 2 USB-C inlets. Taking a look at the passenger area once more, we have a lockable glove box. Pretty good amount of room in there. It's all felt lined and illuminated for at night. We also have an auto-dimming rear view mirror with a compass in there. And touch lights for illumination, as well as your sunroof, sunshade controls, and various other lighting controls. As you can see, it's not a full panoramic sunroof, but it is definitely an oversized sunroof, and this one switch will control the venting for the glass and the sliding for the glass, as well as the sliding for the sunshade. And as you can see, full black headliner, and this blocks 100% of the light. Just a couple more things I'd like to mention. Can't forget about the visors. They have lights, mirrors, and card holders, and also the grab handles. So that will pretty much do it for the features of the interior on this S7. If you've made it this far in the video, I hope you have enjoyed it. And I also hope you stick with us here at Ty Drives for more videos just like this one. And make sure you switch on over to my channel to watch the first-person point of view driving video that I put up on this exact car. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope you stay with us here at Ty Drives for more videos just like this one.